So Anthropic have just announced Claude 3.5 Sonnet, a release that came completely out of the blue and during a time in which people are claiming we're in an AI winter, and Anthropic are saying that this is currently the best model on the market, beating GPT-4o, which was just recently announced a few weeks ago. So how good really is this model, and which benchmarks does it excel in? Is Anthropic planning to release Claude 3.5 Opus, as Opus was their best model at the time Claude 3 released? And does this mean that OpenAI will have to release something in order to compete? Let's take a look into this. So just yesterday, Anthropic announced Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which is their latest and greatest language model. They're claiming this new model is currently the best on the market, beating Claude 3 Opus by a mile and overtaking GPT-4o, which only just released in the last few weeks. And on screen now are the benchmarks for the Claude 3.5 Sonnet model compared against their previous best Claude 3 Opus and other companies' top models. Here we can see this model being victorious in almost all of these benchmarks, give or take 2, with some notable benchmarks being graduate level reasoning going up by 6% and reasoning over text going up by about 4%. They say on their website that during a coding evaluation, Claude 3.5 Sonnet solved 64% of problems, outperforming Claude 3 Opus, which only solved 38%, a huge increase there in the scheme of things. And this release comes at a time when many are claiming we're currently in an AI winter, as although some models have been released recently, most models seem to fall at about the GPT-4 range, and people were starting to worry that we may be hitting some type of limit. And if you're not impressed enough already by this model, here's another benchmark on screen now, this one being referred to as a challenging contamination-free benchmark. Contamination-free meaning that the model couldn't already know the answers beforehand. And on this benchmark it doesn't even really come close, with 3.5 Sonnet leaping ahead, leaving GPT-4o about a mile behind. And as if the news wasn't good enough already, this model is free to use right now. You can go onto Anthropic's website and use this model and test it for yourself, see how good it really is. So with that being said, is Anthropic planning to release Claude 3.5 Opus? Because we know when Claude 3 originally came out there were 3 types, where Sonnet was the medium range one. So that begs the question, will we be seeing a 3.5 Opus? And Anthropic has actually explicitly answered this question on the page, where they announced this new model. They say that to complete the Claude 3.5 family, they'll be releasing Claude 3.5 Haiku and Claude 3.5 Opus later this year. And I think that is a very exciting statement that gives us a lot to look forward to, because if you remember, Claude 3 Opus was quite far ahead of Sonnet in the benchmarks, so it makes sense to assume that Claude 3.5 Opus is going to be far ahead of Claude 3.5 Sonnet, again while we're supposedly in an AI winter, and then we'll likely have Claude 3.5 Haiku as a faster and less intelligent model. So with that being said, does this mean that OpenAI is going to have to release a model soon, as essentially Anthropic might be forcing their hand here? Well, we know from a few weeks ago that OpenAI said that they had begun training their new flagship AI model, and it's not 100% clear what this means exactly, but it's likely that they are referring to GPT-5 here, although it's worth noting it could possibly be a higher GPT and they may just have GPT-5 in the testing phase. Your guess is as good as mine here. But if OpenAI really have only just begun training GPT-5, this may mean that they are actually falling behind, as Anthropic has clearly taken the lead here with this new announcement by quite a large jump. As well as that, we know the CTO from OpenAI about a week ago said that the models in the lab are not much better than what the public has already, and this does come from the same lady that seems to speak a little bit more truth than the rest. So if what she's saying is right, it really does seem like OpenAI is now falling behind. Although having said that, this is the same CTO which just claimed a day ago that the next generation of ChatGPT will have PhD level intelligence, while also indicating that the next generation of ChatGPT might be available in a year and a half. So even if we are waiting a while, they might take a huge leap here. But do leave a comment, as I'm interested to know what you guys think about all this. Do you think OpenAI is sitting on their best model? Do you think they're falling behind? But if you're still listening, I really appreciate you. Like and subscribe if you can, it really helps me out, and thanks for watching.